Hi everyone, my name is Svetlana. I'm executive coach and Montessori mother. In this video I would like to tell you about a technique called crying session. First I use this technique from Aletha Solter, and I changed completely my attitude to crying when I got this book when my baby was 3 months old. Aletha Solter is famous for her research about baby's development in terms of biological instincts. And she explains in her book that crying is a basic instinct that we need to satisfy, as well as food needs and security needs. And when I read this book, I was very inspired, and I learned the symptoms of crying. And there are a lot of types of crying, like crying for food, and it's different from crying for anger. Crying for insecurity is different from crying for negative emotions. And when I started to recognize all these different types of crying, I learned how to satisfy my baby's needs for crying out what he wants. And the first important thing that I recognized and accepted myself is there is a need to express out negative emotions. And before that I tried to carry my baby and make him not cry. And at 3 months old I started to notice that he wants to cry when he is angry, when he is frustrated with something, when he is not hungry, when he is full, when he is dry, and he still has this frustration. And I tried crying session. I put him, like she said, she has a whole book about how to cry, a baby book. This is one of the first books. And I put him on my hands and I said, I love you, accept your need to cry, and I give you opportunity to cry. And when I started to do this, he was crying for 30 minutes, for 1 hour. And I was just holding him, and I was being there for him. And my husband first, even though he brought this book to me, he couldn't accept him. Crying made him angry. And Aletha Solter tells us that when we were hurt in our childhood, and when we were told that crying is not good, and when we hear crying by ourselves, we want to push baby to stop. So we need to heal ourselves, to go to psychologists, psychiatrists, to life coaches, and accept when we wanted to cry as baby, when we were told not to cry, go back to the situation. Accept those instincts to cry out what we want. Accept those instincts in us, and then allow our babies to cry. So not everyone accepts crying, especially people who don't know Montessori approach, who don't know Aletha Solter or other psychologists who recognize the importance of crying. So my husband, even though he brought this book, he was scared of baby crying, but then I kind of tried to teach him. My mother was completely against crying, like, you saw him angry, why you want to put him on crying session? It's like when my baby started to grow and he was 2 years old and 3 years old, when I saw him pushing his toys away, when I saw him ruin out what he built, when I saw him being frustrated, I said, okay, Nikki, do you want to cry? And he said, no, 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 no. I said, yes, 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 you want to cry. I see so much frustration, anger, and sometimes I teach him to move out this anger by beating pillow. But when I see him really fuzzy and doing like, I said, okay, you're almost crying. Let's cry it out together. And I put him on my lap, and I encourage him to cry. And Aletha Solter describes so many cases when children find many reasons to not cry out their emotions. Mom, I want to the toilet. I said, no, you don't want to the toilet. You were there 30 minutes. Mom, I want to eat. And he's pushing his hands, moving his legs out. And I said, Yes, you want to escape. You want to escape from moving out your anger. And I accept you. Fight with me. Move your legs, move your hands. I'm here for you to cry them out, all these negative emotions, to release them. And Aletha Solter describes when the crying session is over. When the crying session is over, she said, your baby will do like this. And from the first moment when I started to do crying sessions, I found that it worked, because I was waiting for him to cry out like for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, when he was still and when finally he was doing like and he just moved away from my hands and started to play. Sometimes started to hug me, sometimes started to kiss me, and always he smiled. And when he was not smiling, and he had fear in his eyes, and he had no smile and fear in his face, or he was trying to escape like this. Mama, I did my crying. I said, no, Nikki, you did not finish your crying. You still want to escape. You still feel fear, and I see your eyes. Let's go back. Let's try again until you feel released. Sometimes I bring him back, and he starts crying out again. Like, okay, Mama, I'm so upset. And he's moving all these emotions out, upset or angry. And when he started to be 3 years old, he started to call these emotions. And today in the night, he was overexcited before going to bed. In the night, he was crying almost 1 hour, every 1 hour, but he didn't finish his crying. And my husband came and said, okay, be quiet, relax. I said, no, he'll wake up another hour. He didn't cry out what was inside. And then I said, okay, it's enough. I wake up at 5 a.m. I put him on my hands and I said, Nikki, you can cry. I know there is something you need to cry out, and I'm here to support you. I express these emotions in my face so he could feel congruence between us, that I'm on his side. And when he saw my face expressing these negative emotions, he said, yes, I know something is disturbing you. I am here to cry with you. And he started to cry so loudly. Mama. And when he finished, and for the first time, he said to me, Mama, thank you so much for helping me to cry. And when I heard this phrase, thank you so much, Mama, for helping me to cry, I was so excited that I'm doing the right things. And then he fell asleep happily and in peace. And in the morning when he woke up again, he was happy. He came to me and said, good morning, Mama. How are you today? So I wish you to experiment. Read the book Aletha Solter, Away Baby, and your other books. And just experiment. How do you help your baby to deal with negative emotions? If your baby wants to cry, do you tell your baby, stop, don't cry, calm down? Try to put your baby. Even your baby will do like this. Move me away. Hold baby and say, I accept your anger. I accept your movements. Do it. We do it together. We move everything out until you feel happy and released. Good luck.